Hey guys, thanks for joining me again on this journey of figuring out how to better reflect God by looking at some things that I wished I had been taught. Now, this is going to be my last video on this subject as we wrap it all up and leave you with some encouragement and tips to move forward in those beliefs as we all aspire to better reflect God through them. So, I know in my last video, I talked a lot about accepting the subjective and the experience and the tradition that plays into what each of us believes, whether we realize it or not. I also mentioned how coming to this point of acceptance and choosing to do so can come with some risks in certain communities. But I want to encourage you that this might not always be the case. I know that for myself and my husband as well, that we have been fully accepted and welcomed with loving arms by the Our Safe Harbor Church community. I get to present myself, my thoughts, my experiences, my beliefs, and my whole heart, regardless of if they align with every single member or not. And they still support me and love me and provide me with this outlet and opportunity to converse with you here and now. And so my encouragement to you is to find a community that you can lean into like that, to find a community for support and encouragement of your entire self, whether that's with the Our Safe Harbor Church or elsewhere, whether you can find that in your family, in your friend group, whatever. Finding that sort of a group will help you face the risks and challenges that we've already discussed with a much lighter load to carry. Now, on to some practical tips and thoughts to leave you with. Please don't mistake what I've brought before you as a message to discredit or throw out altogether what you thought you knew or believed. Have your beliefs and be genuine about them, but don't parade or pretend that your convictions are superior to what I or anyone else may believe. The point here is to realize that others have beliefs that are just as equally compelling to them. So stand for what you believe, but also kneel before others, just as our servant king does, and honor the image of God that they bear through those beliefs, and be willing to listen and learn from them. Make space for them just like you make space for yourself. Know that only God is God. None of us are. And so none of us are all wise and know all truths. But be your authentic self that God created you to be without dominating others. So stand true to yourself in relationship, and that's the key word there, in relationship with those around you. Again, like our servant king does, to seek the greatest good in everyone. Seek justice and love for everyone. And remember that we ourselves and our beliefs are products of the communities and the relationships that we are involved in. I do want to also point out that in my faith tradition that I grew up in, it was typically stressed that not only did we have to convince others that what we believed was more true than what they believed, but we also had to convince them to the point of converting them and believing what we believe to a T, as if that's ever possible. And I bring this up to raise some questions for any of you who may have been raised with a similar mentality or taught a similar mentality and who may be having a hard time stepping out of that. My question is, where is Jesus in that approach to our beliefs in relationships with others? Is that truly worth holding on to? And does it reflect things that are eternal, things that are really of God? Please understand that it's okay for you to need what you need from your beliefs and from God. And perhaps there are some beliefs that you hold so dear that maybe if they were to change, your entire belief system would fall apart. Don't let them go. Again, I say it's okay to recognize that. But what's not okay is when what you need supersedes another's humanity or freedom. I don't think that it reflects God appropriately when we attempt to force or impress our beliefs on others because we believe them to be more true or superior. That's not how Jesus reflects God to us. We can hold on to our beliefs and faiths and traditions tightly, but if that brings you to a point of not even perceiving or allowing a world where another's experience or faith or beliefs could be as real and as powerful and beautiful as your own, then maybe it's time to loosen up that grip. And maybe it's time to make room for others and their beliefs and their experiences. And maybe it's time for all of us to do that anyway, to better reflect God that we see in Jesus. So I'll leave you here with these last few questions that I'm borrowing from a post that was made by Benjamin Kremer. I want you guys to seriously think on these, ponder them as you reflect on your own beliefs and your reflection of God through them. How might I be wrong? How might the passion of my convictions regarding an issue be causing me to ignore errors about my convictions themselves? Do my convictions about social justice issues reflect the complexity of those issues, or are they just one-dimensional, absolute, either-or categories? Have I ever actually talked with people on the front lines of the issues that I claim to have strong convictions about? How might the practice of my beliefs be harming others or myself? How do my beliefs cause me to treat others, especially those with whom I disagree, with cruelty or compassion? Do I love my beliefs more than I actually love people? If Jesus showed up right now, would he even be allowed to change my mind about certain things? Even a little? I've found that these questions and others can be helpful in preventing me from turning my beliefs into idols. Jesus didn't call us to love our beliefs as ourselves. Jesus called us to love our neighbors as ourselves. If our beliefs prevent us from loving others well, that is when we know our beliefs need to change. I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening.